Welcome to Well Played Podcast, a show on all things playful and joyous. Together we are finding joy in the journey of life, and today we have Adam Powley with us, and we are talking about this wonderful, one-word topic of gratitude this week. And I just think it fits really well with this month. And Adam actually reached out and said, I think this would be a good topic. And I was like, heck yeah. And we instantly sat down and started to record this show. So without further ado, for those that are new to Well Played, Adam, could you please introduce yourself?
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on again. I'm Adam Powley, and I am an 11th grade U.S. history teacher in South Carolina. And I have a blog and a newly emerging vlog at classroompowerups.com. And this month, I've reached out to a bunch of people to share my small platform and hopefully let them reach a new audience, and hopefully we can share our audiences a little bit and talk about this idea of gratitude.
Adam is being very, very humble here. Your website and your new emerging vlog are both power packed with great ideas, great walkthroughs, and even just reading some of your blogs, anybody couldn't help but get kind of inspired to either create their own thing or follow in your footsteps. So it is
Well,
an
thank you very much.
awesome resource. Glad to have you on. Adam's been on for quite a bit, so if you love this episode, go check through the 80 other episodes. You'll find him sprinkled throughout. Really good stuff. So speaking of that, I'm grateful for kind of the PLN that's out there, right? I was talking this weekend with some of my friends that we live in such an incredible time. I was just trying to picture my trajectory as a teacher if I lived in a time that didn't have that kind of connectivity with things like blogs and vlogs and Twitter and YouTube and Instagram and Facebook. I'm incredibly grateful for that kind of connectivity.
Oh yeah, I remember. I think I'm going on year 6 of being a gamified teacher, and I remember getting asked the question, "Who else is doing this?" And at the time, I had no idea that any other teacher was really going along this journey. I was learning from economics courses through University of Pennsylvania or something. So I was learning all this idea of gamification through the business world, and I just happened to be, step by step, just for little page by page, finding little hashtags, and all of a sudden I kind of found my PLN, my tribe. And when I'm having a bad day, or when I'm thinking that I just kind of want to give up on educational Twitter, there's always XP Lab or Games for Ed or any of these gamification sites where everyone's very positive and they're always very helpful. There's not a lot of people that are boasting about what they're doing. It's all personal reflection and trying to help each other out. It's fantastic.
Yeah, the communities that are out there, really, almost all, I like to say that us gamifiers are a special breed, an awesome breed. But I really feel welcomed at so many Twitter chats and whatnot. And I think the XP Lab community and the Games for Ed community, they're filled with what inspires me and what I'm grateful for is they're filled with doers.
Yeah.
I just get so excited because they're people expressing their excitement and their joy. And that from my YouTube channel, really I try to focus on the things that bring joy in our lives and bring that into our classrooms, and games just do such a great job of that. Gamification does just a great job of that. And to hear people, enthusiastically through their 280 characters express their ideas and kind of how excited their kids were.
I
I'm
love when they share pictures.
I know
So they're always, yeah.
that
Here's
window.
here's here's an item I created, or here's a picture of them doing a breakout game. I love being able to see into their other rooms. Yeah, so I'm grateful for the technology for that reason.
Yeah, and if you're listening to this, it's so true. That image, whether it's a picture of kids in your classroom or that thing that you create for your game, whether it be an item, a badge, or whatever, please continue to post that because that inspires all of us. Uh, Adam and me, who gamify a ton, I get inspired by that. I'm like, yeah, man, that was a great idea. Or, yeah, I should make another like item or badge. So like I'm grateful for those posts for how it impacts me. And I know fully well it like impacts others.
Oh, and it just makes me smile thinking that something that one of us put out in the world has, had that trickle down effect, and somebody else is using it too, and
Yeah.
that it reflects right back, and then I get inspired to help create something else.
Yeah, that's sort of the magic of gratitude, right? It's that moment of like reflection and thinking through what you have and sort of counting your blessings instead of like counting your
Mm.
bruises.
That's a great way to put it. Yeah, one of the things I was thinking about when um, at the beginning of the month, I wanted to do something where people could share on my blog, and I'd be able to, you know, post to a different audience in their blogs. And it made me start thinking about the tradition that my family has for Thanksgiving, where before anybody can eat, turkey's on the table. The sweet potato casserole just smells fantastic. But before we can eat, we have to have like all 25, 30 people that are at the table have to go around and say something that they're thankful for. And we've had years where, there's been cancer diagnoses, deaths in the family, but every year somebody finds something to be thankful for. And even in the worst of the years, there's some way to rise up, that everybody walks, starts carving that turkey with a smile, and they might be through tears, but there's always some reason to be happy. And I think that it's really easy in our profession to forget that there's always something good happening, right? Nobody ever thinks about the kids that are working through things, that are really making gains. We think about the ones that we go home and we're having a hard time with. So I wanted to think about this as my family table, where we can all kind of sit around and say the things that we're grateful for, and walk away feeling blessed, I think is the right word for them. Yeah.
I love it. I mean, I'll share a little personal story. My daughter Mila and when I have her, um, and I'm putting her to bed, she just turned 8, and we kind of a tradition either at the dinner table or, like I said, when I'm putting her down, we we do roses and thorns, which I think you may have heard of, right? Like,
Yeah, I used to use that. Yeah.
right. So like the general idea there is you don't have to have a thorn, but you should be able to find a rose, and you sort of talk about like the good things in your day. You can have more. You can have as many roses as you want. Um, and then my daughter, I thought was really cute. She added about a year ago. She's like, "Well, can we have roses, thorns, and rose buds?" And I was like, "Well, what's a rose bud?" And she's like, "This is the things I'm excited about that are coming up tomorrow." And I thought that was really cool to be like grateful for what you have, as well as like this sort of grateful for the opportunities that lie ahead.
Hmm.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
We do a similar thing. A lot of times before dinner, well, we have long days, and we ask our boys, what's something good that happened today. Recently, we started asking them, what's one thing that you did to make the world a little better? So that puts them in a mindset where they're tired and cranky from school, but now they're like, okay, we did do something positive, and we are helping to make the world a better place.
I
So
like that. That's
yeah,
nice. So I mean, like
borrowed that from somebody. I don't remember who.
the internet. Credit the internet.
It's the internet. Yeah.
Uh, I mean, like that's just it. Like I think we can get so wrapped up in our busy lives and sometimes so frustrated by the way we want things. Like, and it even can come from a good place. It can be out of our passions that we want our classrooms to be different, our schools to be different, decisions to be different, um, and that drive to do that, to make the world a better place on your timeline, on your schedule,
Yeah.
can be tough. But it's that reflective piece of gratitude, that calming moment where you think through like, oh, but there has been gains made. Like we are probably moving towards the thing that you're trying to get us all to move towards. It's just not happening at the speed you
Hmm.
want. And I got
Yeah.
to remember that myself.
Yeah. I went through that a couple weeks ago. I have one class. It's my biggest class, and the way our schedules lay out, students tend to cluster throughout the day. And this third block class, everything I was trying to do was just falling flat on its face. I had this whole battle mechanic system that I was really excited about, and it wasn't working. And I felt myself getting frustrated that they weren't into it. And I started thinking back 2 weeks ago now. I started thinking, what is going well? And I started realizing that some of the kids were doing things with my little mock currency that I wasn't expecting. They were actually gambling with it, which maybe that's not the best thing that I should be happy about. But they were excited about the little silver system, which I have, which is just these little tickets that they can buy like items with. They weren't into the battle mechanics. They didn't want to fight each other. They didn't want to have competition, but they were like rolling dice and kind of gambling with my little silver bits. So I reworked on the fly, just reworked a whole system where instead of battling each other, they roll the dice. And I used this last year, and they take a little 10-question quiz. And if they can beat their 10-sided die roll, they win a bonus. And that has really pulled them in on that little battle mechanic review that I wanted. So that opportunity to step back, pause, and reflect, which I've been thinking about is like hitting a reset button. We have that opportunity so often that I think we forget that every day is a new day, every semester is a new semester, every year is a new year, and we can really just think about what we're doing and we can change. And that's the beauty of sort of the gamified system. And I know we both talked about it in the past, that it's not one game, it's many games that we're always playing.
Yeah, and you're tying in different systems and trying new things, and kids are okay and they're responsive to us trying those new things. And I swear, I mean, I have zero data to back this up. Sample size 1, that's my classroom. But I really believe that kids are more agile in a gamified class. Like they're able to, if I all of a sudden say we're gonna start this new tech tool, like they're all in and they're fine when you sort of wrap it in that gamified experience. Previously, I always sort of felt locked in, like, well, these are the tools that I'm using this year. I've trained them on these tools. I'll try that new tool next year.
Mm-hmm.
And since gamifying, I don't feel that way. And I'm grateful for that, right? I'm grateful for that experience.
Yeah, there's a shared common purpose. Like if he's doing this to us, there must be a reason for it. It's not just because they, found something last night that he wants to throw at us. It's there's a mission element to it, which I find with my students too, that they might feel like guinea pigs at times, but they always feel like they're being part of a bigger goal, which is great.
Yeah, I really love it. I love this. I love gamification a lot. I love the communities that's been built. And when we talk about gratitude, another thing that I just have to say that I'm super thankful for is the opportunity to work with children on a daily basis. And I'm thinking about my middle school students. You just told the story about like hitting that reset button and how every like semester's a new opportunity. Like in middle school, truly every day is a new opportunity. I mean, like those kids, if you come in with a positive attitude and you're just like really joyous and you light up the room, it's amazing. Like some kids that you haven't connected with all of a sudden perk up and they see it as a new opportunity. It's a new day, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that was a hard lesson learned for me. When I feel like I really started to become more of a master teacher, was understanding that authenticity is important, being your true self as much as possible, and then realizing that the students are coming in, they're not blank slates, that they have stuff going on in their lives, and the more positive you can be when they walk in the door, the more open they are to being with you and to helping you get through rough patches. So
that's true. And I think
yeah.
we as educators too, we're so passionate about the whole child and our whole community. I think like you said, you put it well before when you said we can focus on those like really ultimately like small percentage of our students, that it's not sort of working for whatever it may be. Could be their struggles because of learning challenges, could be it because of family challenges, it could be because of you, and like like whatever the challenge may be.
Yeah.
We can get really hung up on those like two or three students. I'm in the middle of parent teacher conferences this week, and I have had countless great ones. Parents just gushing that their kid loves it, or parents gushing that they love it, that they've never seen their kid so inspired, so excited, like good one after good one after good one. But like, it only takes one bad one, and that's like all you'll go home and think about is that one bad one. And you don't always stop and think like, wait a minute, I had all these other why am I not sitting here dwelling on like, oh man, that was awesome that parent said that great thing.
Right. Yeah, I think we definitely need as teachers to give ourselves a little bit of that idea of free to fail. That the thing about being free to fail doesn't mean that you fail and then stop. You fail and then try to fix it. And I think that sometimes we try to be too perfect every time and not realize that there is a possibility for growth even within veteran teachers. So
yeah, I had a parent talk to me that said their child's putting like a ton of pressure on themselves, and they're like, we don't know where it's coming from, because like we're not, like, we just want him to be happy and we want him to do his best, but like we're not like beating him over the head with it. And I shared with them, what would be a powerful sort of thing to do with your son. I was talking to the dad that like he should sometime, not connected to grades, not when his son's having a bad day, just as like a random out to dinner conversation, tell him about some of his failures, because his dad's a successful engineer now, right? So like, to a sixth grade perspective, he just sees his dad doing like right thing after right thing after right thing. He sees his mom doing right thing after right thing after right thing. Goes to school, hopefully sees a bunch of teachers do the right thing, right thing, right thing, and like, he doesn't realize he's seeing, I don't want to say the end product because we're always growing, but you know what I mean? Like, he's seeing that polished more version. Polished. Yeah, right. Like, and he just doesn't recognize that like you're at the start of your journey, and man, I wasn't doing this at the start of my journey. Your dad wasn't doing that at the start of his journey, and the dad really was kind of lit up and was kind of excited about this angle he could take, right? And you could just tell that he was, to kind of go back to the topic of what we're talking about here, grateful for the relationship he has with his son and this possible new opportunity to sort of like help his son through that.
Yeah. We've I'm not sure what grade your daughter's in. My 8-year-old
Second,
is
big number 2.
Yeah, my 8-year-old's going into 3rd grade. It's the first year in South Carolina where they do standardized tests. So it's a transition from that 2nd grade idea of like a lot of projects and a lot of like learning. They get carrots instead of numbers on their report card, and he's learning how to play that game of school to get the good grades. And we had to have a conversation with him that get a bad grade on a quiz, it doesn't mean that you're a bad person. That it's you're learning, you're growing. It doesn't tell us anything about your worth as a person. So I'm grateful that that message, I think, is setting in, and he's trying hard. That's not what we said was grades are bad, but that number on your test score doesn't determine your worth as a person.
Sure,
and that's a message.
Define you.
Yeah, it's a message I try to tell even to my 11th graders that yes, I want you to do well on the test, but I'm not going to treat you any less, even if you get a poor score. So
that's awesome. That's some good parenting advice right there. I often think like parents sometimes need to hear like even those little coaching moments where like I think us teachers get naturally because we deal with students and we deliver that kind of message all the time. But some parents get that report card and they react in a way that sort of gets the kids nervous, even if they're not like, even if the parent is okay with them, but man, that facial expression, man, that instantaneous sort of shock and surprise, like whatever goes over them, that sets the course, that sets the tone from that child's perspective. So like,
It's the unwritten expectations, right? Like we talk about written rules in our curriculums and in our syllabus, but there's always that set of unwritten expectations and rules that are more important, I think, than the ones that are actually said out loud. I think that's what we're kind of getting at.
Yeah. No, that's so true. So true. I was thinking too, as part of this discussion here on gratitude, I know there's gratitude snaps. That's like a thing, like where you sort of take a little photo and a little message of things you're grateful for. I want to give a shout out to a friend of mine, Nick Davis, on Twitter. He's at
'99.
Slapshot99.
Yeah.
Great guy. And I just want to give like a shout out to him. Nick started last year Teachers with Cameras hashtag. And like I'm really grateful that he put himself out there. He loves photography, he loves videography, loves toying with all that. And he puts this out there and it's a little bit like gratitude snaps in that he gives you like a weekly assignment. And I'm just so grateful for creators like him that put things out there that make us pause. Like that's one of the things I love about photography, even if it's with your iPhone. Just these like weekly challenges he puts out makes you stop and think like, oh yeah, like today I'm supposed to do a black and white of something, or every day I'm supposed to do a black and white. And then you want to do like something different, and it makes you see the world in a different way. It expands your vision of what's in front of you, and
Hmm.
and I think that's what gratitude does, right? Like it just lets us see the world in a little different way, and then it kind of makes the other ways we see the world that much better.
Yeah. Yeah. The idea of gratitude is not about saying thank you as much as is realizing what you have that you should be thankful for. So, I mean, that we start off dinner with saying thank you to God in our family,
Hmm.
have our blessing, and that's as much saying thank you as it is reminding ourselves what there is to be thankful for. And that sounds like really what you're talking about with Nick and his pictures is just uh, putting a frame around the daily ideas that are in a disorganized, chaotic world. It's really focusing it in.
No, I like it. And then like another one, a very close friend of mine, Carrie Bacham, does those idea floods from her YouTube channel, and just that same thing. She gives you a topic to sort of draw and sketch about, and it almost doesn't matter to me what the topic is. It's that moment where I'm gonna sit and I'm gonna stop what I'm doing in that chaotic world, like you're talking about. And I'm grateful for creators like her putting it out, but also grateful for that moment of like I don't know, noiseless moment where you're just sort of focused on that activity. And I
Kind of like
love it.
meditation.
A little bit.
Yeah.
And I love it. So, you know, two things that I am definitely thankful for, two wonderful people I'm glad to have in my PLN.
Well, I have a lot of people that I'm grateful for as well. I mean, if we're going to talk about people in our learning networks, a lot of mine is not digital. I mean, I have people that I absolutely love through Twitter, and you've mentioned a couple of already. I don't want to go through the list because I don't want to leave
No, no,
anybody
this is
out, but
true. That's not what we're turning this into. There's
but
lots
I
of you that
have,
we both could name.
oh, oh yeah, and they tag me on things, and I love it. Um, Less Twitter based, but even in my building, my principal has been open to everything that I have ever proposed. Her name is Candy Fleming. So you can find her on Twitter. She's great. Her only question is it good for the kids? And when I say yes, she says, go ahead and do it. My curriculum coaches and media specialists, they come into my room frequently and watch and give me feedback, which is great. My Miss Ritchie, who's the media specialist, she does improv, and I'm working on her getting her into interviewer for my vlog, where her philosophy is yes and is the idea of improv, like
Improv, I love it.
yes, and we're going to do this. So I proposed, I can't remember what we were going to do, but I said, hey, can you come in and do you want to be one of the characters in my narrative? And she's like, yes, and I'm going to act, so she just added some extra dimension to it. So
I
everybody
love
in
it.
school is just fantastic, and I love where I work, and I couldn't be more grateful to find this home.
That makes that makes the job that much better. It makes it not really a job. I think it makes it a career,
Oh yeah, easily.
right? So
Yep.
that's just That's awesome to hear. I absolutely love the school I work at too, and there's some phenomenal people that are on Twitter and some that are not. But just a fantastic talent pool there. And I think truly that teachers that you can find that like everywhere. Maybe it's not the same percentage and combination or personalities that we have at our two schools, but everywhere there's just good people doing good work.
Hmm.
And as your principal says, and it's good for the kids.
Yep.
That's can't really be said better. That's pretty awesome. So we have a gratitude sort of challenge from you this month on your blog, right?
Yeah, I put a call out to a bunch of writers that I know, and I asked if they would like to use my space to post things out. So I've gotten almost a dozen or so different people that I really know and respect, and they've made some things that they can post on my site, and they're going to share everybody else's on there. So if you want to check those out, you can come to classroompowerups.com and read those. I tried to keep the theme very open at gratitude. And I mentioned in my first blog that there's so many personal things I can mention about being grateful for. I have a wonderful family. I mentioned in my blog that my wife and I suffered for years through infertility, and we started our family through adoption, and we're very open about that. And we're just grateful that we were able to adopt Wesley, and that we have biological kids now, Ben and Gabriel, and we're very open with that. So we could go on and on with that gratitude of being thankful for that. I try to keep it more professional oriented and talk about the things I'm grateful for there. So we've had people writing about their PLNs, and we have people that have been talking about being thankful for stress. I have really found it interesting, some of the common themes that are coming up. So in the idea that it's okay to have a little bit of stress. It's good to have people to fall back on, and it's good to start every day new day fresh. So I would love for everybody to come and check those out.
Check them out. I am currently working on my vlog post for it, but I would imagine by the time this airs, it will be out. So
I
check
can't
that
wait to
out.
see it.
Check that out as well. Now I definitely have the pressure to get it done. I was like, I
Oh,
don't
you're
have
on
it.
tape.
I'm on tape. Like, hold me to it. If you don't see one on gratitude on my YouTube channel and Adam's blog, uh, feel free to call me out on Twitter, everyone.
Well, if
That's
there's a
fine.
weird
But
edit right now.
on the flip side, if it is there, watch it, and I would love for you to like, subscribe, and comment. I would be grateful for that.
And I would be grateful as well.
So, well, we are at the time where we're going to do some reflection time of our own here on the show. And we have a fantastic quote here. And I'm curious if you would like to go first on this or second on this.
I can go first if you want.
Boom.
You're going to have to
Brave
read the quote,
soul.
though, because I'm trying to remember.
Uh, Alphonse Carr says about sort of this notion of gratitude. Some people are always grumbling because roses have thorns. I am thankful that thorns have roses.
Yes. The French literature critic, I believe.
That's right.
Mr. Carr.
I think that's correct.
That reminded me a lot when I heard that one. We have sort of a running joke in my school that there's no such thing as a problem, only opportunities. And that that's usually something that's told to us right before we're told that we have to go and fix something. But it usually turns out that the solution to whatever the problem is brilliant, or it solves a problem that we didn't know was even there. That's actually kind of how I came up with gamification in my class. Was I was told that my test scores needed to improve, and not in a threatening way, but we had to find a way to get the kids more engaged so that we could get that end of the course test up higher. And you're just looking around and realizing that was an opportunity to try something new. And where people were seeing thorns, we have this terrible, horrible test. We're able to go and find this beautiful thing of engagement that moves us beyond the test.
Mm-hmm.
And we can do things that we didn't think were possible before.
I love it.
So that's my thorn, or my rose bush there.
For me, the quote is all about perspective, and something that I think we should all try to keep in mind. I try myself to keep things in perspective. I had a college roommate that every time I was super nervous. This guy's one of the smartest guys I ever met. But he contextualized things. He gave me this right perspective, and I still hear, sadly, like decades later from college. I still remember this, and he had two things. He said, one, is the thing that you're worried about right now going to matter in 5 years? And most of the time the answer is no. Like it's this like stress that I have today or this week. And then the other one is, you're not doing anything that tens of thousands, if not millions, of people have done before you. Like, if it was truly as egregious as you feel, or as clandestine as you feel, that it would have been changed, right? Like when you're like, oh my gosh, I have this huge like term paper, this is so on, there's no way I can get it done. Like everybody's got term paper, like, right? Like they would have changed that. Like college would have stopped that. Or, oh my gosh, I have AP tests coming up. Like if AP tests like were that horrible and only like 1% of kids, they would have changed it. Like it's not as like terrible as you think. And the more I'm able to keep that perspective in mind, the more I'm able to see the thorns having roses, that I like, I do have some good skill sets. I have some good notes. I have a great study group, whatever the case may be back in college. You're kind of like, it's going to be okay. There's like a peace that comes over you, and you're able to like tackle that big challenge, and you're able to smell the roses, and maybe even avoid some of the thorns.
Yeah, that's a good point. And, a lot of the things that we think are obstacles unable to be overcome are really things that have been challenged before.
Yeah.
It's a great perspective to have.
Pretty good from like a 19-year-old. Like,
hey, I know, right?
Well, Adam, thank you so much for being on the show.
Well, thank you for having me on again.
It's always a pleasure having you here. And everyone else, thank you so much for listening this week, every other week. If you're new, check out MrMatera.com. You can get all of the 80 plus episodes of Well Played on there, as well as links to my YouTube channel, other things, blog posts, merchandise. We got it all.
Saw Star Wars one I had my eye on.
That's right. So, as always, guys, thank you so much. It's truly an honor. I am grateful for you. I hope you all have a wonderful Thanksgiving and just a great week.